Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the American GTC Championship here at Road America for round one. I'm Austin. I am joined by Sammy Kumo in the commentary box. Sam Patrick is going to be here for race two. Hopefully, he missed his train, so hopefully he'll be here for race number two. Currently, lone qualifying is happening on here in Road America, but we are excited to start out the American GT Championship. Sammy, what do you think?
Yeah, hello, and yeah, we're definitely excited with this. This is basically the continuation of our British GT Championship, but this time with the American twist on the American tracks. And we'll see. I think most of these are kind of different type of profile. Like here we would be seeing a lot more drafting. And of course we have different cars this time around. Now the GTE class and the GT3s.
Yeah, GTE and GT3s in there. A lot of participants. I believe a maximum of 55 cars have signed up so far for this race. And first race, 20 minutes. Second race after we spin the reel is going to be a 40 minutes endurance race. So very different setup that we're used to.
I mean, it's only 2 races, so I think that's really the major difference. But other than that, usually we have just these kind of reverse formats on most of our races on the ApexRacingTV.
That is true. Our reverse grid wheels will be separated for the GTEs and GT3 classes. So one wheel decides one and the other wheel decides on. And also some special rules for those. I know since I'm from the MX5 broadcast that it was everybody involved in one and there was one lap, but GT3s, they have to be within 2 laps down of the leader to be counted for points in the wheel, and GTEs have to be on the exact same lap to be counted for the wheel.
Yeah, that's right. And I think for everyone who is with the drivers, I mean, for everyone who is new to the series, I think the second race will be kind of a learning experience, because we do have, let's see, we have 55 cars on this race right now signed up, so you kind of have to be really careful and just make your moves, being smart rather than just trying to hold up for the outright pace.
Yeah, it's going to be a packed grid and a packed starting grid. I'm very excited to see how these guys get through these opening laps.
Yeah, as far as I know, the rules are that the GTEs will be starting on the green and the GT3s will be hanging back and just waiting until the leader decides that it's time to go.
There is our ARL GT timing in the chat. Y'all want to follow along with the chat and see our live timing currently. You'll currently see Martin Van Loosenlord sitting in P1 just by 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, Martin is one of those guys that we see in these kind of top series, and he has always been really fast. So it's not surprising that he is setting the pace right now. Let's see, that is, well, Fletcher is giving a good challenge. That is just under 2/10 slower, so he's definitely not dominating so far, but we'll see how it goes into the race.
Definitely. It's long qualifying right now, so we're just waiting for everybody to get in their laps. It said 5 minutes on our rule sheet, but they changed it to 10 minutes. So, I believe right now it's just introducing us to everyone else, and I believe there's a big following for the Grip TV driver of Andrew S. Brown as he's bringing it around Brown Town in the carousel.
Yeah, currently he is still hanging quite a way back in the standings, but I believe he still has 2 or 3 laps to set his qualifying time. And I believe he was a bit higher in the practice, so I think we should expect him to maybe make it into the top 20 at least for this qualifying.
Yeah, I saw him sitting in P15 earlier in practice when practice ended, but in practice it has everyone else on the track, so you can definitely get some drafting for people. In low qualifying, it's just you, the track, and the clock, see how many laps you can do here. which I would say is around like 3-4 laps, since the lap around here is about 2 minutes.
Yeah, he had 2 good sectors. Let's see, is this enough to improve? No, he stays in 23. See, do we have anyone else who might be improving? That is Kev Copeland. He is currently 27, so and that is at least a couple of better sector times for him, so this might be an improvement as he comes across the finish line.
No. It's not the last GTE. There's Russ Davis, who's just coming down the final corner right now.
Yeah, also spotting Lusenort has set the new purple sector on sector 4. So it
I
seems
think
like
he just went off track right there.
Well, that's
new fastest lap. 158.33.
As Javi Utreras sets a really good time, putting him all the way up to the second place.
Surprising to see a Ford up there.
Yeah.
Usually don't see the Fords having a lot of pace, but there's actually not a lot of Fords. It's mainly a Ferrari-dominated field. We got 2 Porsches in the GTE class. And GT3s, let's take a look at who's
it's over actually.
Right there. Looks like GT3s is going to be very mixed, but here's your starting grid for race number 1. Martin Lusenlord for Rev Max Esports UGX takes pole with a 158.329. He's followed in the front row by Javi Gutierrez for Radicals Online DGAF. Mark Fletcher starts off right behind him for Radicals Online Motive, with Justin Rem for RSR Esports. Cohen Copland for RevMax Esports UGX is going to be starting in 5th, with Rodrigo Listowiski for Clube du Volontaine, with Michael Evadoska for Texanesi Fit Sky Motorsports, Kristen Michael for Revland FT1 Motorsport, Tom McMahon Euro SR, Cameron Dance for Texanesi Fitzy Motorsport, Lewis B for Texanesi Fitzy Motorsport, and Nick Madsen for Texanesi Fitzy Motorsport, with Sierra Roach starting out P13 for XVR Sim Racing, Jesper Linden for Texanesi Fitzy Motorsport, James Salt for Euro SR, Simon Underhill for Nomad Sim Racing, Harold Stadler for Texanesi Fitzy Motorsport, Tiago Lurio for Euro SR, Seb Rocks for Euro SR Young Drivers Academy, Suarez for XBD Racing Motorsport, Steven Bacade for Flat Out Motorsport, Jason Hodgson for Radicals Online Motive, Andrew S. Brown for Grip TV starting in P23. He's joined by Bob Humphrey for Euro SR Young Drivers Academy in P24. Behind them in the final parts of the GTE grid is Tom Sudlow for Brit Tech Sim Sport, Gumhir Barros for Club du Valentine, Kev Copland for the B team, Bob Chow's D2D Esports, Russ Davis driving for himself, Josh Thompson driving for Thrustmaster, Marvel Racing, and Joseph Saul ends up the GTE grid for the B team. And starting pole on the GT3 side is Scott Brazier for Simza Esports, Yaroslav Sebo for Atlantis Esports team, Frederick Kern for the Apex Racing team, Alessandro Dalladonde for Satellite Racing, Ronald Moons driving for himself, as well as Chris Studi, Bob Boland, and Mike Horter for Boosted Motorsports, Adam Hedgecock for Boosted Motorsport, Jocko Balshaw for Last Minute Racing, Ignacio Hortel for RSR Esports, Rob Soderland for Last Minute Racing, Bois in P13 for Rev Match Academy. He's joined by Ryan D. Walker for Nomad Sim Racing. Behind them it is...
Okay, looks like it went too far. Okay, here.
Tristan Martz. Tristan Martz for Privateer, Rob Tisson For Rev Match Academy, John Rowers from Boosted Motorsports, as well as Steve Castrop from Rev Match Academy, Dave Pence for Last Minute Racing, Sean Gardner from Boosted Motorsports, Gobi Bingaman from Gob Racing, Nick Doors from Doors Studios, with Damian Harris from Mutant Racing and Vaughn Glantz from RSR Esports starting at the back of the GTE fields. They have not. GT3 field, they did not set a lap time. And that was your entire 55-man grid. Well, I say that, it was really 53 cars on the formation lap right now because it looks like Yaroslav Sebula and Joseph Sal are not taking the grid.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe they're just... oh, we have something happening up there. Up. No, I
think it's just like cars, I think it's just
down.
People just passing each other and...
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I believe if we bring up the minimap right now, we're going to start seeing the GTE field pull away. Yep, there's that gap that we were seeing.
Yeah, that's what we want to see. This is a decent amount of gap. They are kind of...
massive field. 30 GTE cars and 20 GT3s.
Okay, we also got feedback on your pronunciation here on the chat. This Bimbo.
Oh, it's Pimbao.
Oh, that is
well,
actually...
it's the same...
Yeah, it's so incorrect on the level. Let me just fix that.
Yeah, it said Bao Bao for me.
Yeah, that's not totally right.
It's the first race of the series, so some mistakes are okay. So the GTE field is coming up to Canadian corner at about 3 corners to go as the GTE is coming out of the carousel and down onto this long straight through the kink. Keeping a very nice side-by-side line, and surprisingly not a lot of people warming up their tires. They aren't on NTM7, so I totally understand. Totally understand that. The Porsche States car has 1 more corner to go, and then we're about to go green here at Road America. It's Luzin Nord and Uteras. 1 and 2. Ferrari versus 4. I'm not quoting the movie right here, but ladies and gentlemen, as they're coming up the hill, we're about to go green flag racing as Luzin Nord hits the pedal to the metal. And here we go to start off the American GT Championship here at Road America. And a great start by everyone up behind, keeping it clean, no real drama. Luzin Nord and Gutierrez leads it in, and into the first corner we got Colin Kaufman going wide and a big crash.
Oh.
And he's still in the air.
I did not see who that was. 28 is that Russ Davis. He is top on track, but he has cleared now. And let's see what happened here with the GT3, sorry.
So we look at the GT3 start after we just witnessed a NASA launch. Up the inside, Rob Tessev for Rev Match Academy making a move, and he makes it very nice for P13 in the GTEs.
Yeah, compared to the GTE start, this field is much more calm. Oh, there is someone.
Oh,
thumbs up low.
It's one of the GTEs. GTEs are being very crazy, and speaking of crazy, look at turn 3, we got a crash in the background. That's, there's a Mercedes sideways, but I think it was just him. So comparing stars, the GTEs are a little bit too crazy.
Yeah, I would think that maybe the GTE is a bit easier to drive, at least in my opinion, but maybe that also leads to guys just pushing a bit too hard. Yeah.
As they're coming out of the carousel, getting all that draft and coming down the straight. We're looking at the GT3s. You can see the differences between the GTEs and GT3s. The GTEs are in red, the GT3s are in purple. Or blue.
I mean, it's the American flag colors. So I guess it should be blue.
This is a very dark blue.
It's on the Wikipedia. I'm not American. I don't know what color it is. At least supposed to be, I guess this.
We see one of the Atlantis cars of Jaroslav Seblev rejoin the track right there as the GTE is having a little bit of team fight with James Salt for Euro SR. It looks like he has, yeah, he does have a lot of damage, so he's been banged around the buck a little bit too many times. They're going side by side through turn 2. His teammate sliding in just ahead of him. He's got Colin Kloppman for Rev Match right behind him, as well as Andrew S. Brown behind this group as they're going too wide down the straight, heading into turn 3.
It was supposed to be in 3 wide.
Oh, almost 3 wide. See, Brown has a little bit of damage on his back rear wing. That is Guido Barros.
Yeah, look like he had the small off and maybe lost just a little bit of time there.
Yeah, Road America is very tricky if you just go off track, because the grass on the outside is just like a ice skating rink. They do have fast repair. They only have 1. And I believe he was teleported back into the pits when he went into space. So just use that fast repair to repair any damage, if there was damage to that car.
I mean, I would imagine there will. But it's just though that takes a really long time here because it's just an over 2-minute track anyways.
Yeah, that's why we saw. I believe that was Sebula who rejoined the track after the start. I think he just missed the start.
Yeah,
but Andreas Brown, he's already up 5 spots from where he started. Let's take a look at the biggest movers. Josh Thompson up 13 spots from where he started for Thrustmaster Vonner Racing, sitting in P17. That's a great start by the Ferrari driver.
I think he started last. I don't believe he set the qualified time.
Yeah, he didn't. But with all that craziness on the first lap, he definitely knows how to move up the field right now, and I think he's making another move right now, going up the inside of Colin Kloppman. They're going side by side, heading into turn 3. Porsche on the outside, Ferrari up onto the inside, and he's going to get that position easy as pie. Now his next person is Tiago Lugriera for Euro SR.
It's just interesting to see how is the feels. Oh, we have some issues here with the.
Big crash!
Oh, also Barros just desperately trying to reach on the track before the GT3s come through.
We saw Barros lose it in that corner earlier, last lap, and once again, and also there's chaos in the GT3 class as well. And he's gonna teleport back to the pits and just let these guys go through as Scott Brazier leads the GT3s out for Simsa Esports.
I think it might have been Jacob Boshoff who got caught in that incident. No, this is a separate issue, I believe.
Yeah, separate issue. I think it was just cars just losing their back end, and he waited for everybody. Turn 3 here is just so tricky, no matter what car. MX-5, Skippies, IndyCar, there's always an incident there.
Yeah, also turn 3. Like, okay, was it turn 3 or turn 5? Or how do the corner numbers go here? Because it's...
Technically, it's turn 5. Yes. Because Americans would count any small bend as a turn. We're crazy.
Yeah, that makes it hard.
I've been calling it turn 3, and I think everyone else calls it turn 3.
Yeah, same.
As Nord leads everyone through our turn 3, coming up the hill into Corvette.
It looks
top
like
5
top
of this.
Top 4 is actually starting to open up the gap slightly.
Yeah, top 4, top 5. We got Tom McMahon right behind him. And he's just staying with the front group, but not too close. But they are definitely forming a gap right behind. So it's going to be a very comfortable race for these guys. Might come into a very crazy battle in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, Tom's problem here is that he is just falling outside the draft range. So it will be very difficult to keep up if he cannot close in that gap to about another second.
He's also within. He's also staying in a safe distance away from them, especially if there's a crash in that upper group. He can easily maneuver his way through the crash.
True.
In a corner, side by side, Euro SR guys, still holding it out with each other. Loving the delivery these guys have.
Yeah. Also, so this battle here on the track. Yeah, this is definitely hitting up here. Is around, well, it says on 13th place, but basically the midfield. And just in front is Josh Thompson going for yet another position.
Up 17 spots right now. Looks like he's got Simon in the Ford. Held on to the outside as they head into turn 1, and yes, he gets it. The Thrustmaster Movano racing driver, Josh Thompson, just a overtaking machine in that Ferrari here at Road America. He's gonna have a little bit of catch-up work to catch up to Harold Stadler from Texas Tennessee, Fitzy Motorsport, hashtag SFCRC. Not sure what that hashtag stands for. So we see a little bit of a move from behind. That's Colin Klopman on Simon Underhill. Going a little bit too wide, and that's one of the Euro SR cars of Tiago Lorno up the inside as well. Getting ahead of Simon.
Yeah, that was 2 positions lost for Underhill. But he is still able to keep up, although now he has Seb Brox right behind him.
A little bit of weight on the brakes from Seb. Keeping it together through the carousel. I expect Seb to try to launch a move off the exit.
Yeah, let's just see if there's anything happening with this battle, and then I think we need to take a look at the GT3 battles as well.
Yeah, we've been leaving a lot of GT3s out of this right now. As Seb, as they head into Canadian Quarter, not actually launching a move right here. I'm actually surprised. We have a question from Drew Becker on how do we join the leagues.
Yep, I'm trying to copy paste the link. Here it is.
And we do have a question: is BMWs not allowed? They are. They're in the GTE. They're in the GT3s, not the GT.
Yeah,
I believe
the
the
issue
BMW
is that we are limited by the number of cars that is you're able to have in a host session, I believe.
All right, so, ooh, that is Sebula turned around the final corner.
He was already 1 lap down, so he's just kind of trying to keep out of the way.
Yeah, he was driving ahead of the leaders. Saw him come out of the pits ahead of everybody else. Really want to know what happened to his start and why he started for the pit lane, but he's just letting everyone pass him right now. And that is Alessandro Donde in P2. With Mike Horder from Boosted Motorsports in P3. GT3s, I'm getting E's and 3s confused for some reason, are a lot more spread out than the E cars. Speaking of the GTEs, there is a big battle for P1.
I believe that is for P2.
Oh, P2. Yeah, Luzinord has actually pulled away from Yavi Ortigueras, Mark Fletcher, and Rodrigo Levuski. Lisa Whiskey.
It's curious to see if Ortigueras actually had some issue, or is this just different in the pace. No, it's just slowly creeping up, and I think that might be Luzinord also setting up really fast lap times.
Yeah, Mark. His pole lap was insane. But I really want to shout out Yarvi for driving in a Ford right now in this massive field of Ferraris and 3 Porsches.
Yeah, I think the Ferrari is still the preferred car, even after the DOP changes. Ford has always been kind of... Ooh. And here we go.
Comes Mark Fletcher up onto the inside of the American, coming into turn 2. He gets that move just nice, a little bit of wiggle on the exit. And it looks like Rodrigo is looking for a move as well on Javi.
Yeah, I also see that we have some issue for Lewis Pipi. We can take a look at that in a moment, but let's see what's happening.
Oh, the moment of lockup! Taking full advantage of that, Rodrigo sneaks into P3.
Yeah, Rodrigo just put enough pressure there to push others into a mistake, and that was really all it took.
Oh, he's having a lot of troubles on those brakes. With 7 minutes left in race number 1, you do not want to be coming into these problems right now.
No, especially when the second race will be longer, I believe.
Yeah, second race will be 40 minutes. First race is 20 minutes. It's more like a sprint race to get everybody in the feeling, and then a 40-minute race. I believe driver switches are going to be a thing in this series.
No.
No, they aren't.
No, this is not an endurance race.
It's not that type of endurance race.
No. I mean, 20 or 40 minutes are not endurances.
All right.
As we have movement here,
Ooh.
just the ram going off the track. I think it might have been something with Josh Thompson, because I also see him. No, that was just coming wide. But what happened to
Justin Ram, very late lockup, surprisingly. Gets into the gravel trap of Canadian corner. There goes Josh Thompson. Kind of a risky rejoin.
Yeah, fortunately it didn't cause any issues there. Or at least oh, Rodrigo, what has happened there? He is suddenly dropping on the screen.
He's out.
Is that a technical issue?
I think it may have been a technical issue. We saw him teleporting a little bit. Because I don't see any crash or off track for him.
No, me neither.
Gotta move for P10. Oh, but he's held it. Klotman has held it on for P10 from the attacking Harold Stadler. He's got Justin Rem as well on his back end. Rem, especially after that mistake, really wants to correct himself. Here he goes up onto the inside. So they're going to be sending on it. He's locked up the brakes. No, he doesn't.
Yes, again, that front lockup that we saw, that caused the issue on last lap. And now he is under attack from Thiago Burrero for Evo SR.
Yeah, Thiago sees that he's struggling in the braking zone. He's going to be more cautious definitely in this braking zone right here. We're going to see another lockup. No, we aren't.
And a little bit further back, there is also another good battle pack happening here. With
big Jaguar
Suarez,
cars.
Yeah, Suarez, Copeland, Pocket, and Sutlo.
Oh, Sutlo into the wall!
That's also a difficult place to reach on. If he can do it before the GT3, no, he cannot, and now he has to be really careful because here comes the GT3 leaders.
Their spotter is going to be saying that his car slow on the exit, and he gets back onto the track, but that car has seen better days, especially, and the GT... Oh, he's losing it again! I expect he's just going to tow. Yeah, there it goes.
Yeah, that doesn't look like it's drivable at this point.
Yeah. We're looking at Alessandro Daladonde, friend of one of our other commentators, Marco Barbanera. We see him racing a lot in the NTT IndyCar Open Series on Friday. He's currently sitting in P2 right now for Satellite Racing.
So we also have some issue for Ryan Walker. He is coming in the pits. I'm not sure what actually happened there. Is he under fuel perhaps? Because his car looks okay.
Yeah, I think it may have been fuel, may have been a fast repair.
Yeah, his lap times look okay at least. But
Yeah, it may have actually been underfueled.
Yeah.
Simon Underhill right behind Brown. So he's leading out this group for P14. 2 Fords and 2 Ferraris.
This is basically the close battle that we have right now.
Yeah,
it's gonna be just a small taste of the next race, I think.
Yeah. You know, it's a good race. This Brown is all over the track. He's going to fend onto the inside. It's a 4v4 right now. Underhill and Brown going down the front straight. Side by side they go. And I believe this might be with 2 laps remaining. Unless the GTEs just decide to slow it up. Side by side into turn 1. Brown up onto the inside. Underhill holding it around the outside. But it's going to be Brown still holding it. Side by side into turn 2. Brown and Underhill once again. Side by side. A little bit of sketchy exit for Underhill. And the Ferraris. We might see a little bit of bump drafting right now. He is bump drafting him. Underhill with the double Ferrari bump draft. Pushing it ahead, and oh, Brown gets tapped. And now, Underhill up onto the inside, but here comes Brown on the switchback. And Brown switches back once more. Underhill up onto the inside. Brown has car on his inside, now he's on the outside.
Yeah, I'm speechless here. You don't often see the bump drafting.
Well, that Ferrari really, Lewis Bibby did pull out a bump draft on Underhill. I've never saw that before. I've seen it in a few single-seaters cars, which just makes you go, whoa. But bump drafted to get Underhill ahead of Brown. And now Brown has got a little bit of damage on his rear wing, so it's going to be hard for him to catch up. So we have 7 seconds remaining as the GTE cars are on the front straight, and we're going to go white flag racing with 1 second left. You know, there's gonna get close, and then there's gonna get really close. White flags for Martin van Loosenlord here at Road America.
And you know that is going to cause some fuel issues. I bet the drivers weren't expecting this one more lap.
So fuel definitely going to be an issue as Brown and Bibby going side by side, and we might start seeing some cars lose some fuel in the sprint lobby. As here comes Bob Humphrey. Is he going to give the Ferrari a bump draft? It's a nice message on that rear wing. Get behind it, Kier. Brown getting held out around the outside. Here comes Humphrey up onto the inside. Brown has nowhere to go. The Euro SR car forces Brown way off into the grass, and Brown saved it.
He saved it, but now he's way down on the speed, and that is Seprax coming through fast behind.
Yeah, I'm just excited that Brown has actually saved it, or else that would have been a visit into the wall.
Let's also take a look at the GT3s, which we have not shown up so much. Oh, Ferencvaart, is that a slowdown or?
Oh, he's out of fuel.
Really?
Yeah, the Apex Racing team car is out of fuel. We saw him stop on the side of the road, pull up, and I believe that's just him out of fuel. Oh, that's unfortunate. We said we were expecting some of that to happen, but I wasn't expecting it to happen right there. Big implications. Also, I think another GTE GT3 is slow up on fuel. That pink Audi right there.
It might also be loaded with damage.
Yeah, slow to the damage, but I think he's also cruising the fuel. As taking race number 1 is Martin van Luzenoord for Rev Match Esports UGX, taking the victory with Mark Fletcher and Javi Uterus in P3. And Jots Thompson taking P7, up 22 spots from where he qualified.
I mean, that is looking promising for the second race, for sure.
Yeah, definitely second race is going to be even crazier. We will have the reverse grid wheel as we take a look at the GT3 leader of Scott Breiser for Simsub Esports.
And he actually has a decent gap. That's almost 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's a very, very big gap to Alessandro Daladone as he takes the GT3 victory. And Alessandro Daladone takes P2. And Bob Bolin right behind him.
We might have some drivers running out of the field. That might be... Yeah,
yes, we
Adam
do. Hedgecock stopping out on track. No fuel. He is out of fuel. This is going to be big implications for the reverse grid.
And also, is that Dave Betts? He is really slow.
Ooh, I think he just lost that position.
Yeah, I think so.
And that was a GTE car he was racing for, so no real lost position, but yeah, he might be out of fuel. Very, very, very low fuel that these guys are finishing on. The rule I was already tell is always have a extra lap of fuel in your car.
Yep.
Especially in this case. That's really become the case if it's finishing on laps, but on time. Oh, that is a crazy way to end race number 1.
Yeah, we're currently still waiting for you guys to finish that. Oh no.
Oh, Ryan D. Walker limping down the front straight, trying to get anything. You can see him just barely applying throttle to that car. So he's slowly inching his way in. I don't think he's going to get there. He's not. He's not going to get to the start finish line. Ryan D. Walker is pulling up and he's going to park it on the front straight, just inches away from the start finish line. Is pushing allowed? Oh no! Oh, here goes the car. It's going backwards now.
Yeah, that's not helpful. Also, we might have... Okay, Ronald, everyone has now finished, so we can actually go through the results.
Well, we say that. Ryan D. Walker is...
I mean, it's showing 11 laps for me, so maybe he just creeped across the line.
He's at the line right now, but it's just barely not there. That is crazy. So yeah, let's bring out the results.
Okay, so GTE is first.
Taking the GTE victory, it's Martin Luzenoord taking P1, followed up by Mark Fletcher, Javi Urteras in P3, Tom McMahon, Christian Michael, Nick Madsen, Josh Thompson, Kevin Dance, Jesper Lynn, Colin Klotman, Justin Rem, Harold Sadler, Tiago Lunior, Simon Underhill, Louis Beebe, Bob Humphrey, Andrew S. Brown, Seb Rocks in P18. He's followed up by...
just a moment. Okay. Yes.
Suarez, Jason Hodson, Bobby Childs, Steven, Bob Cade, Kev Copland, Tom Sundlow, and Rodrigo Lisovisky, Goodyear Barros, James Salt, and Russ Davis finishes out your GTE grid. I don't think, yeah, Sierra Roach and Joseph Salt also in P30th and P31. That is your GTE results. Let's go to the GTEs.
GT3s. Yeah.
They're so close to letters, I get confused.
I don't think times are correct. Or are they?
Yeah.
Are they? Yeah, we'll see.
With cars running out of fuel, and some cars a lap down, it's just very crazy. Taking the win, it's Scott Breiser, followed up by Alessandro Daladone, Bob Balland in P3, Ronald Moons, Rob Zinn, Dave Petz, Rob Sutherland, John Roberts, Tristan Martz, Mike Horder, Nick Dords, Fernet Kern, Adam Hedgecock, who we saw run out of fuel at the end, Ryan D. Walker, Damian Harris, Chris Studi, Yaroslav Sebla, who started from the pit lane and had a lot of hard troubles getting back, Ignacio Hortel in P18, who's followed up by Sean Gardner, Jacob Bushoff, Pimbo, Colby Bingman, Vaughn Glantz, and Steve Kastrop in P24 to end up race number 1. We're gonna be bringing up Sammy, and Sammy, it's time for my favorite 3. Yes, it's time for our favorite time. It's time to spin that wheel.
Yeah, the wheel is now on your screen. Let's bring some volume up, and where is it? There. Let's spin it. And we've also had a request for the start, and I think we have to take a look at what happened there. But first, the reverse.
Yeah.
So it is for the GTEs, it is full -1, and for the GT3s, it is 12.
So full GTE reverse grid -1, and GT3s is just going to be the top 12 flipped over. So that's going to be a very, very interesting start for the GTEs. Going to be very good, especially if you did have a very good race at the start.
Right now, take a look if you can get.
Yeah, let's take a look at that first lap.
Do you remember who it was?
No.
I've seen Steve Kastrop had some issues, so maybe it was him.
We have a message from Chris Studi and John Roberts. Not enough fuel, and Chris Studi just forgot to put in race fuel. Nice. And what the heck happened here?
This was on the start, I think.
Well, the GT, that was the GT3s. Yeah, here's some GTEs.
And it's already passed, so this is.
Yeah, that's already passed. So let's use this reverse time. Hop back a few.
Yeah, we are still way too far.
Yeah, we're in the future now.
Okay.
Here's the start once more.
So we're right now looking at the midfield. I think it might have been just ahead here.
Oh, there he goes.
Hey, was Klopman?
That was Klopman?
I'm not sure. No, I don't think it, because he's.
Yeah, Coleman was racing with everyone. I don't think that was him.
No, it was the. It's one of the Texans pit style guys, I think.
You think it was Michael and Vodka? That may be
yeah,
Michael.
you're right. I think so. Let's just find him on this time screen, and now let's now take a look at what actually happened.
It was Michael.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because he was asking about the repairs.
So you want to ride on board with him?
Sure. I'm not sure how much we can actually see here.
Well, all I know from there was a car off the track, and it came right into him, and he had nowhere to go. There he sees him. There's a Porsche. Oh, it wasn't Mike. Oh no, it wasn't. Let's go to the moon.
Yeah, unfortunately hit this guy and got ported back to the pits.
What a crazy start.
Yeah.
Well, we do have one more crazy start after this small break for race number 2. The 40-minute race is coming up very soon.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Coming for a splash. Three, two, one, now. All clear. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Welcome back to the Apex Racing League American GT Championship live on Apex Racing TV. We are back at Road America for race 2 of the evening. I am Sam Fitzpatrick, and joining me in the commentary booth is Austin Knight with Sam Kumo on the cameras. Also, we just saw a very good race 1, a terrific amount of drivers out here, but this second race, big reverse grids for both classes. It will really mix up the action and bring up a lot more entertainment, I imagine, in this 40-minute event.
Yeah, definitely. Race 1 brought us a lot of action, a little bit of drama at the end with gas running out on a few cars, which was very painful to watch, and it kind of is a reason why the reverse grids took so long to get reversed, because, well, you never really had a cars just stop on the track on the final lap of the race.
Yes, had to counteract that, but it's all up and running now, and the grid should go all very well. Anyone who watched first race of the British GT series knows how important it is to get the grid right. Otherwise, chaos can ensue, but it should be very good around this Road America circuit. Of course, 12 cars reversed in the GT3 category, but 22 cars reversed in the GTE category. I always find this quite interesting, Austin, when you got these terrific drivers like Mark Fletcher, Michael Abdoka, Martin van Loosenhout, who of course won race 1. These are terrific drivers, but put them outside the top 20 starting place on the grid. Often it can really affect them, and they might not be able to get to the front. It tests such different skills to just out and out pace.
Yeah, and especially over 40 minutes, they're going to be more cautious. It's not a sprint race to the death like the first race was with 20-minute races. You did inform me that this wasn't going to be very fuel impactful. But we might see what happened again in race number 1 happen this time, and I really hope it doesn't, and I kind of really hope it does, because that was the most drama-filled last lap I've ever seen. But someone that I really want to look forward is Josh Thompson. He finished midfield in the GTEs, got into the top 10, but he was up over 20 spots where he qualified. He's just an overtaking machine. So we're going to be seeing a very chaotic turn 1 in the GTE class.
Yeah, we sure are. We haven't seen Josh too much on Apex Racing TV. It's a great shame that we haven't seen him too much over the last few months, but he is probably, to me, the best overtaker we've ever seen on the channel. So he's going to be a real danger to these other drivers. The judge just gridding up, I think, at the moment. Of course, we've got a massive formation lap, so I got plenty of time to go through the grids. And yeah, here they are, just gridding up with the pace car. I didn't put the Mustang as the pace car. Didn't set up the session perfectly, it seems. But on pole position, Stephen Bocquet, who finished in 21st place, or 22nd place, apologies, in race 1. And it was a full -1 reverse grid, so terrific for him to be on pole position. Bobby Charles starts alongside him on the front row. Then it's Jason Hodgson, Victor Suarez-Rivero, Seb Roux, Andrew Brown, Bob Humphrey, Lewis Bibby, Simon Underhill, Thiago Loureiro, rounding out the top 10. There it's Howard Stadler, Justin Rame, Cone Kloatman, Jesper Lind, Cameron Dance, Josh Thompson, Nick Madsen, Christian Mickle, Tom McMahon, Javi Gutierrez, Mark Fletcher, race 1 winner Martin van Loosnod, then it's Kev Copeland, Tom Sudlow, Rodrigo Lizowski, Joseph Sol, Guillaume Barros, James Saltz, Russ Davis, Michael Abdoka, and Kieran Roch. That's the GTE field. In the GT3s, we've got Franz Kern on pole position. Then it's Nick Dawes alongside him. Then it's Mike Horder, Tristan Martz, John Roberts, Rob Sutherland, Dave Petts, Rob Thiessen, Ronald Moons, Bod Boland, Alessandro Dalladone, then race 1 winner Scott Brazier, and then Adam Hedgecock, Ryan Walker, Damian Harris, Yaroslav Sebula, Ignacio Holtel, Sean Gardner, Yatko Boshov, Pimbal, Kobe Bingham, and Stephen Kastrop rounding out the grid.
Reverse Grid's putting up some big names into some high-risk spots as we're coming down the straight right now. And very long pace lap here. I expect a lot of people to be saving fuel now, especially with a 40-minute gap. But yeah, Stephen Bocade and Bobby Childs, your front row for the GTEs and the GT3s, Franz Kern and Mike Horder going to be leading out, and it's a Ferrari, and a Mercedes leading out the grid.
Yeah, certainly the Ferrari's dominating the GTE field, apologies, but in the GT3s, decent mix of cars. That's always what we want to see. The GTE mix actually is pretty good in terms of the BOP, but the Ferrari by far the most popular car across all American circuits in this series. So perhaps the circuits that we're visiting just before that, but you can see a couple of Fords in amongst those Ferraris as well, because the original GTE cars which came to iRacing about 2 years ago. But what can we expect from this first corner? Do you think the drivers are going to be too rash, Austin? Of course, reverse grids are new to many of these drivers. This is a completely new experience and a field this large as well. So it's understandable if some of the drivers are a little bit inexperienced. They might be a little bit too aggressive. They might be a little bit too passive. It'll be fascinating to see how they deal with this.
Well, having driven in a few reverse grids and being on the pole multiple times in a reverse grid because I was way off the pace, it's a kind of scary feeling when you know the guys that have won this race are behind you, but they aren't that far behind. They're very far behind you, but everyone behind you is faster than you. But that may be because your first race is very bad. So you just, if you're in the front, you're going to try to take this as nice as comfortable. But if you're in the back, it's all chaos because everyone's trying to move up as fast as they can. We see that all the time, the BSR MX5 series on Tuesdays. And the reverse grid just brings something special to it. And it's kind of redemption mode. But I just really want to see how some of the best overtakers do in the GTE and GT3 classes, because the GT3s, half the grid was reversed. It's just a top 12 that was doing it, so they're going to be very, very cautious, I say, because this is a 40-minute race, but whenever you say that, you always know that there's going to be craziness. We had a car just launch to the moon last time, so hopefully that doesn't happen again. But we're going to see what happens as the safety car is pulling off right now. And we're about to go green for race number 2 for the American GT Championship here at Road America. Bocade leads him off, and we're going green.
Not a good start for Bocade. I think Charles is going to have a good chance of going all the way around the outside at turn 1. Giles staying mainly in double file, though maybe a little bit of single file you can see there just in the background. Hopefully there won't be too much contact as Bobby Charles takes the lead straight away. We've got Giles skating off the circuit. We'll keep it out to the barriers, all in control. Got to make sure that they run the circuit safely. In the GT3s, already still leading the way, I believe, is Franz Kern. There he is, and he's actually got a pretty good launch away from the rest of the field. So he's still the leader in that class, you can see, getting into single file. Rob Sutherland trying to make up a move on the 05 car straight away. A little bit of an opportunistic move there, and we'll see who makes some big
I think we got chaos in turn 3. The GTE cars all over the place. 3 wide, almost 4 wide right there. As I saw a lot of cars trying to go 3 wide heading into turn 2, but GTEs, these guys are very rowdy. They love close racing. They're going still stop. We got a car up on it on the side of one of the RSR Eastward Porsche cars. Joseph Saul off into the sand trap, as well as Jason Hodson coming back on, but very crazy start as the GT3's now having a little bit of incident. I believe that's Ryan D. Walker. Wait, wasn't he leading?
Well, Victor Suarez has managed to take the lead. Not quite sure how on earth that has been able to happen, because I think he took the lead actually at turn 3. So issues for Andrew Brown. Bobby Charles had the lead going into turn 3, and he lost it very quickly. So remarkable start for these top 2 drivers. Of course, Brown, race winner last season in the British GT, 2nd place in the championship overall. So he's really a very good driver at joining some points. As off the circuit goes, well, Mickles had an off, and also Giles. So from the lead to probably outside the top 10 on this.
Well, oh my goodness! We got a car diving into the pit lane as one car is up, flipping over end with a crazy way. We got another space launch.
Yeah, and just rattling across the cement walls as well on either side of the concrete walls. And there is Barros as well. Hopefully the GT3s won't get involved in this. You'll just see them going over the crest any moment, as Bob Humphrey, I think, has just hit the wall as well. A bit of damage on that car.
Craziness happening here at the end of lap 1 for the GTE category. You want to know how crazy this first lap was? Josh Thompson is up in 3rd, already up 13 spots from where he started. We were saying he's one of the best overtakers in iRacing. That is definitely a case for that. Also, Martin van Luzenoord up 16 spots from where he started.
Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. Credit to those guys for keeping it out of troubles. We've got another spin. It's just Mullins, who was one of the fastest drivers out there. Perhaps looking like he could get a good result, but there's a lot of damage on that car as well. Might just be aero, but it's not really something that you want around a low downforce circuit as this. In the GT3s, I mean, it's still Prince Kern who's leading, and it's been a little bit more casual out there, although you can see he's under pressure from a couple of drivers. We've also got Sudlow, Stadler and Evdoka just up the road. These guys might encounter them any moment now. Still seeing Stadler falling off the circuit, and they would just go past here. There he is.
Oh, there's the car up onto the inside.
And round the outside they go. Nicely done. But Stadler, I mean, he can use a fast rip at least, but he loses a lot of time to come into the pit. So.
Yeah, I will do, and get some extra fuel in there. So we're already 4 minutes into this race, and it's just insane.
Nick Dawes trying to get past in the 25 car. So far, the big gainers in this GT3 field are, I mean, Brazier's up 13 places, Hedgecock up 13, Hortel up 16. So nicely job by him. That's overall, by the way, not necessarily in class. That's probably about
John
8
Roberts
places gained in class.
John Roberts up 14 spots in class. Biggest mover so far in the GT3 category. And we got a spinner hard into the wall. Chaos in the GT3 class. That's David Owen Harris spinning out for Mutant Racing. We also got Colby Bigman and Yaroslav Sebla also involved in there. Oh, that's just unfortunate. It looks like the entire
I mean, that was 5 cars or so, wasn't it? Getting right involved in that, and a blown engine as well for Bingaman, I believe. Hortel gains another few places, then he's up 20 places overall. He's only behind Scott Brazier. You just see him there, who won race 1, of course. So this is really quite epic driving from Ignacio Hortel at the moment.
And we have a new leader in the GTEs. Andrew S. Brown for Grip TV is leading out the race with Suarez and Thompson right behind him. And I think Thompson's lining up a move for P2 right now.
Suarez way off the circuit, even more off the circuit there. It's Lewis Bibby just behind. Here comes Thompson though. This will be easy enough going into Canada corner. Not too much defense put up by Suarez, wisely so. And Josh Thompson, who was a late entry to this series as well, he's only one spot away from taking potentially his first win of the season.
Yeah, starting out the season good. Biggest mover in race number 1, and, well, just lightning fast in race number 2. He's got one more car to go, and that is Andrew S. Brown, the crowd favorite. As shout out to Matt Olmstead for subscribing to us on YouTube.
Yes, thank you very much. Can keep in tune with many more similar events to this. Just a GT3 trying to get out to the pits, but doing wisely to just wait for everyone to go past. I believe that was Joseph Soul just coming out of the pits. And you can see Thompson already gaining time on Andrew Brown. Like I said, Brown second place in the championship in the British GT last season, but Thompson a World GT champion, or at least runner-up in the World GT, which is also GT3 cars in that championship, or at least it was back when he got that result. As Rivero going to have to try to go defensive postcard into the middle of the circuit, but some nice aggressive driving there from Lewis Bibby. He's up into the top 3 now.
Yeah, BB, good move on Suarez right there. Also, Martin Van Luzenoord in P5. He's charging down on the leaders. We're looking at Simon Underhill. We saw him getting overtaken, getting a nice overtake via bump draft on the very final lap.
Yeah,
Kern defending on.
Yeah, Kern having to defend from Order currently. Order's done, well, he got, was it, yeah, he's always been in second place, I believe. Kern's always been out in the lead. It's the car number 16, racing the Porsche in the British GT season last season. I think a little bit more at home in these GT3 cars, leading the way. And it's a hard push to call a winner out of these guys at the moment, because we've still got the likes of Scott Brazy, who of course won race 1. He is 6 seconds behind these guys. In a 40-minute race, plenty of time to bring down a gap like that.
And extend a gap like that, because 40-minute race, anything can happen in 40 minutes. You can run out of fuel if you especially forgot to fuel up your car. Massive crash in different classes. We see Thompson and Brown having a drag race here down the front straight. Brown to the inside, Thompson around the outside. Thompson going to try to hold it around the outside and get P1, but Brown fights him back.
He's doing everything he can as the Ford driver to hang on to that lead as long as he possibly can. Thompson's just going to get the cutback now. He knows that there's a long run down to turn 5, which he can pick up a bit of a slipstream slingshot his way past perhaps, but of course depending on how much downforce these two cars are running, it's going to change how easy this move is going to be. Thompson once again on the outside, which isn't really where you want to go. The Ford might just have to drag his rival out, but Thompson deeper on the brakes, and now a nice run out of this corner. 6 comes up quickly, so too does 7. But this is where Thompson has the upper hand, because he can run all the way around the outside into the kink. Surely only single file unless they are very brave. And even Andrew Brown realises that, gives up the position. Here comes Bibby.
Bibby, but Brown lit on the brakes. He got to lock him, crunch the track just a little bit, keeps it up onto the inside of Thompson. Thompson still has the lead. Bibby all over the back end of the Ford as the 2 Ferraris are hounding him for the lead.
Well, that was a remarkable comeback there from Andrew Brown. Almost made it work as well. Thompson was not expecting that type of retaliation, but maybe if he could just stay in the slipstream,
way off track goes Thompson.
Bibby runs off the circuit. Now he can get the inside 4. Canada corner, Brown leads in room.
Late break by Bibby, and he almost comes into the side of Thompson, but Brown gets into the side of Bibby. And here comes Martin Van Luzenoord. It's a 4-way fight for the lead.
Oh, Brown's going to stay in there. Oh, don't make contact, guys. That was nearly 3rd and 4th into one another. That would have been disastrous for the race 1 winner. But Van Luzenoord got that one. So now we kind of got the top 3 that we wanted. Thompson, Bibby, and Van Luzenoord.
With Brown right behind. Brown's going to have the draft, and it's a Ferrari 1, 2, 3 with a Ford right behind. And Martin leaving a spot up onto the inside. So Brown doesn't come into the back end. Let's look down the grid of the GTEs. You see Victor Suarez had a little bit of fight with Tom McMahon, as well as Simon Underhill right behind.
Yeah, these guys aren't too far behind, just with the in fact, on that last lap, Cloakman was 3 seconds faster than the race leaders because they were fighting, so they were pretty much offline in every single corner. Here comes McMahon, the champion of the British GT. He was offered the car number 1. He wanted to stick with car number 12. It did well for him last season, and he gets that move done. He gets ahead of Victor Suarez, up 13 places is McMahon, and this is what he's kind of become known as. Wasn't massively fast. He won like 5 races last season, to be fair, but it was mainly that consistency, and he's doing very well in this GTE class as it stands.
Yeah, definitely a little late move back in the field, but everyone's kind of started to spread out now. The GT3s are going at it again. Kern and Horner battling for P1 and 2, and P3 is way far behind, and these two guys are going to have a very fun race. As Tristan Martz in the Audi trying to keep pace with the top leaders, but I think he's just going to try to stay away from Sutherland right behind him.
Oh, I've kept her time to go defensive just up the road. As Bibby back into the pits. He's had a big off, and this is how it happened. Unfortunately, I can't see this one, so you'll have to talk us through it.
Bibby coming down the straight. We got Brown onto the inside. He's defending from Brown, and Brown gets in the back of Bibby, and Bibby goes into the wall and can't at a corner. Ooh. Drama in the leading pack as Brown tapped Bibby off the track, and Brown's back up to 3rd. Josh Thompson leads out Martin van Luzendorp, and Brown in P3. Rob Sutherland up onto the inside of Hortle.
Brazier just ahead, so Brazier's just got ahead of Sutherland then. Hortel you'd expect would be next, but of course now it's Martz who's got the, Sutherland who's got the slipstream of the driver ahead. Will certainly help his defense. Brazier trying to break the draft as much as he can. These guys now are still 6 seconds off the lead, so pretty much that gap to lead has maintained, and you can see how quick Sutherland was down the straight. One time to get out of it there was Hortel. He's sporting the BMW out there. Great to see that car represented. Not necessarily the fastest around this Road America circuit, usually bets around some more tight, twisty European circuits. Unfortunately, none of them on this calendar, but he's making it work at the moment, dipping into the slipstream. And now we'll try to get a bit of an overdrive. Now it's up to Brazier, who he gives the slipstream to, and he's giving it a little bit to Hortel actually, down that straight. And Hortel, that should allow him to get past brilliant brakes on that BMW, and the 77 moves up 1 place into, 5th place in class.
Yeah, he's in P5 currently. The 77 is just behind Scott Brazier and ahead of Rob. He's got the overtake line. You can just see the size comparison of the big ol' of the Beamer versus the Mercedes. That Merc is just massive in size.
Yeah, particularly the Ferrari as well, absolutely massive, and the BMW legendary car, which unfortunately isn't in this race. We had to compromise on one of the cars, and the BMW was the one that got the sack. But pretty good variants of cars. Anyway, it's side by side with Utreus, and well, this is Suarez, Utreus, Dance, Lorero, Rame, Lazowski. He's going to come out on top. Suarez versus Utreus.
Oh, a little bit of contact right there.
Come out ahead. Here comes the 44 though, trying to go past the spinning round. That's 4 cars out, and it could involve more cars as well if they collect. Porsche running down the circuit. That's Lazowski, so that was a pack of 6 cars, I think, and 4 of them crashing into one another.
Yeah, the leading cars, but I think the crashing is still going on as onto the straight as well. So there's more cars going slow. Craziness in the GTEs.
It's getting more crazy as well for 3rd place. There's a pretty tight battle for the lead as well, but I just saw McMahon about 1/10 of a second ahead of Brown, who's now only 1/10 of a second ahead of Klopman.
Oh, Brown's off track. Klopman pushing Brown just a little bit. Brown, he qualified in P20th, so not one of the faster drivers compared to the rest of the people who got the positive side of the reverse grid wheel, but he's keeping his own right here, but everyone's closing in on Brown right now. Brown's just trying to defend as the Rev Match Esports UGX car on the back of the 26 Ford. Here comes Cohen. Not thought about it. He's getting all up in that back end of that Ford.
Brown's certainly been in the wars. He hasn't wanted to give up any places so far in this race. He's actually up 2 places, which is a little bit surprising because he took the lead very early on, or at least was running in the top 2 cars very early on. Has been falling down, but that just shows the quality of this field. Just saying if Dotko and Suarez going off the circuit, but that's just normal off-tracks. They do pick up quite a few. Of course, if you pick up 10 off-tracks in this series, you get 3 penalty points, and if you get 20, you get 6, and so for every 10 incidents, you get 3 penalty points. If you get no incidents, you get a bonus point, so it's certainly worth keeping it within the white lines. You're very, great shame, because he was involved in that 4-car pile-up. He was having a terrific race, a driver who we haven't seen too much of on Apex Racing TV before, but he's having to end his day early, although he will have a fast repair, but his competitive race is certainly over.
Yeah, his competitive race is definitely going to be over. The best he hopes for is a solid showing and to stay onto the lead lap. As we see Klopman go up onto the inside of Brown. Brown gets onto the side of Klopman, and Brown comes off the track, goes onto the side, and swipes Klopman, and Klopman's parked on the side of the road.
Just try and come back onto the circuit there, and Klopman will be really frustrated with that. Quite argy-bargy between the two of them on the corner exit, and then, yeah, just that secondary contact. Klopman was lucky not to end up in the wall. I'm sure he's going to be able to catch back up to Brown by the end of this race, so I want to see their second head-to-head later on, and a bit of damage as well on that car, but Brown not making too many friends out there. He's still up in 4th place, though.
Yeah, he's still up in 4th place, but if you look at the mini-map, there's a massive train, so hop on the Brown train, because this is going to be constant battling and defending for Mr. Brown right there.
We'll come back to this battle in a second, I think, because still in the GT3s, it's still Prince Kern leading. He is half a second ahead of Mike Horder. We'll try to keep you updated with these GT3s. It's not quite as chaotic as the GTEs, as Scott Brazier trying to get past Tristan Marks now.
Yeah, Tristan Marks got a little bit of company. Scott Brazier all over the back end of the Audi. Well, it's an Audi and an Audi fight for P3. Also, Ignacio Hordel right behind them for RSR Esports. But these two try to get that final podium spot for each other. And this race has gone by very fast. We're almost already halfway through it.
Yeah, the amount of action we've had. I don't think the second half of the race is going to be quite as action-packed, but it could be just as dramatic, I imagine, as we really get a good idea of who's going to end up on the top step of each podium. Brazier has an awesome chance at being the top highest scoring driver. Of course, race 1 and race 2, the points are worth the equal amount, despite race 1 being a bit shorter. This race 2, though, is still absolutely important. It's that consistency. As we always say on Apex Racing TV, consistency is the key. And that is what Brazier is going to try to use in this championship. We're also going to have a bit of lapping later on. The front runners in the GTEs just getting to the back of the GT3s at the moment.
Yes, they are. They've already lapped one GT3 car. They're closing in on another pack, and one of those is also a GTE. But the leaders is still Thompson and Lucenord, as these two are leading out Tom McMahon of Evo SR. And surprisingly, the GTEs and GT3s, their leaders are kind of doing the exact same thing of all of them pulling away from the rest of the field. Yeah, 1 and 2 sticking with each other, and 3rd place for both of them is pretty much a mirror image.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's great to see Thompson and Van Liesnold go battle as Utreris, who somehow missed that massive wreck coming out of turn 1 about 4 laps ago. Oh, that's a massive crash for Loureiro in the background. what a shame for him. His teammate McMahon doing very well, but that's the Evo SR driver out of the race seemingly, or certainly going to lose a lot of places. Here it's 2 wide, 3 deep, and they sort themselves out really well. Mark Fletcher involved in this one, who had an awful first lap but has driven brilliantly since then, and he's just trying to get his car into the right spot there. Number 25. He's
Last
up to 7.
Last time we saw 6 cars going side by side through there was a massive crash as the leader is going side by side. Martin Van Loosenord in turn 3, trying to hold it around the outside, but Thompson holds him onto the inside and retakes the lead. So we're coming up to the GT3 right there. Thompson gonna try to make the move. GT3 is going to the regular line. Thompson laid all the brakes, sending it up onto the inside. Loosenord also following suit.
Well, in the Sim Racers World GT Series, the season finale on Wednesday, we saw Martin Van Loosenord go from outside the top 40 to finishing in 2nd place. That was a 75-minute race, a lot shorter this, but he's trying to follow a similar feat as Brown is back in the wars. He's fighting with Simon Underhill, and he's up into 4th place as Underhill. Nice move from the Nomad Sim Racing driver. Brown will get the slipstream back though into Canada Corner. It's just, even if you do make a move around this circuit, you're under threat almost on the very next one. But now Brown's going to have to worry about the other drivers coming past him. This is Utreus. He's going to gain 15 places from his start now, and Brown's got to just look behind him. He doesn't want to lose too many more places. 26 cars off the circuit almost, but actually too fair. Gets back into the slipstream well, and he won't lose a couple more places now. He's got Mark Fletcher though, one of the fastest drivers out on circuit, now sitting on his gearbox.
Yeah, it's a Ford, and 2 Ferraris, a Ferrari and a Porsche, all in this battle as Thompson and Nord going side by side once more into turn 1, and Thompson holding off once more.
Well, saying earlier on how Josh Thompson's one of the best overtakers, he's one of the best defenders as well. Van Loosenord, one of the fastest drivers on all of iRacing, it's got to be said, certainly pro standard. And he just can't get past at the moment, despite everything that he does. He's going to have to go to the outside again. Thompson's never going to give up that inside line. Will the GT3 just give the slipstream to Van Loosenord that he needs?
It's going to be very late on the brakes, but here comes Thompson even later on the brakes, just lifting out the pressure and sends it up onto the inside. This is definitely going to be shaping up the battle for the championship throughout the season between these 2 drivers. I can guarantee it. They're still going side by side. Thompson holding around the outside, cuts ahead of Martin Van Loosenord.
Well, that is some gutsy driving from Thompson to go around the outside. The king, almost always the inside driver wins out in that situation, but not him. And I mean, yeah, I take a whole lot of hope for him to hang on to this to the end of the race, but he's doing a great job of it at the moment. Tom McMahon in 3rd place, 1.5 seconds a lap faster than these 2 drivers whilst they battle though. There's battles all over the circuit. Apologies to any drivers who are maybe watching this back who are thinking, I had an epic race, but I'm not being shown on TV. But this is so good to watch as Thompson throwing his car on the inside again into the Canada Corner. Got a little bit of a gap now to the next GT3 car, fortunately. But every corner he's offline at the moment. Van Loosenord desperate to get that move done.
Matt Loosenord all over the back end of Thompson. Thompson holding down that inside line. Loosenord almost had the line and the speed, but just thought about it, saying, I'm just going to try to get him on the straight this time. Didn't work all the other times, but I have a special feeling that it's going to work out well for him as they fly down the straight, side by side. Thompson and Martin Van Loosenord for the battle for first in the GTE class. 25 minutes into the race, side by side into turn 1. Thompson holds him off again.
I mean, this is ridiculous right now from Josh Thompson. He's clearly slower than Martin Van Loosenord, but he is positioning that car absolutely perfectly. Any drivers who want to improve their race car from iRacing, just watch this battle, because so far it has been absolutely perfect. He's just going to have to defend into every single corner. Every straight, he gets a slipstream done to Van Loosenord, and he has a chance at the end of the straight. Here he goes though, goes for the dummy. Can Thompson hold off this one? He's very wide as Thompson, and finally Van Loosenord gets it done, and Thompson there, for once, didn't cover off the inside line, and he really lost out due to it.
Yeah, he went for the dummy, and unfortunately he was buying that day, and, well, Martin Van Loosenord made a sincere transaction for P1.
Oh, I got a change for the lead in the... Apologies, Nate. That's not a change for the lead in the GT3s. But I saw Prince Kern. He's battling with... Oh, no, he is. This is for the lead. Apologies.
Yeah.
With Mike Horder. 1/10 of a second between the two of them. Here comes Horder. I'm surprised, actually, that Grazier hasn't got closer to these guys. He's still 6 seconds behind. He's been 6 seconds behind for the entire race. Just hasn't been able to close in due to having to overtake a few gyres. Kern falls behind, but he has the best line into this next corner. Braking early is Horder. He wants to get the cutback instead for turn 6, but it's not a very long run. Gets his nose on the inside, but actually it's the outside line you want into this turn 6 because then you have the inside for the kink. And that's what Kern is going to try to take advantage of. And this is turning into the lead batter in the GTEs as well, just defending into every corner.
Yeah, Horder trying to find any way around the Apex Racing car as the boosted motorsport car looking around the outside of the carousel. He's going to get a great switchback and a great run onto the straight as Horder can't do anything. Well, no, Kern can't do anything on the end as they're going to go side by side through the kick. It's going to be very tight through here. And here comes Horder up onto the inside as they head into Canada corner.
You don't see a cut back through the kink too often, but that is what Horder has been able to do. He has part of his car alongside Kern, might have to give this one up. Still, he's got part of his car alongside though as Horder. It's just left and right. And it means that Drugs can keep on coming back, dipping a wheel onto the grass. That didn't help Horder too much, but it doesn't hinder him enough to lose him the lead. He's taken that lead for the first time, but now he runs wide onto the grass. Does well not to spin it. Ah, what a shame, because that was a brilliant move up until then.
Definitely a shame. Also, that battling has given Brazier he's now closing in. He was 6 seconds behind the leaders. He's now 2.
That's pretty insane how much he's just gained on that last lap. Yeah, that was absolutely insane from him there. 2:05 compared to Prince Kern's 2:08, and also Horder was 2:09. So just that's how much battling can cost you. And Brazier's right back into the fray of this race. He's only got 10 minutes to get this one done, though. The race 1 winner. Could we see a double for him? We are looking like we might see a double in the GTEs, but to give credit to Josh Thompson, he's fighting back. He's only 0.4 of a second behind. Apologies, it's actually 0.6 of a second behind, but he is getting a waft of slipstream, and that's all that Josh Thompson needs in order to keep on pushing like mad to gain on the lead. At 0.7 of a second faster was Van Liesnold on the last lap. On this lap, I think they're going to be a bit more evenly matched. Yeah, 4/100ths faster was Van Liesnold, so pretty much matching each other. Down that straight, just with the slipstream, Josh Thompson gains by 1/10. So just a small mistake by Van Liesnold, and this one will be wide open again.
Yeah, they also got all this GT3 traffic ahead of them. So they're going to have to be battling with some of these cars, especially if they get to them in some spots that you don't want to have a lapped car in front of you, mainly the corners. So you see him already flashing lights saying, hey, this is the battle for the lead. Please get out of my way and make this easy for me. But GT3s they don't really have to get out of the way. They just go a little bit offline as we see one of the Audis defending onto the inside right there, just letting the leaders by. But the car that they're following right now is still leading on. That was Harris.
Tom Sudlow. Harris letting them pass. So Sudlow, the next driver for them to dispatch. But
oh, this is what I was just talking about.
Completely lost. And
here comes Thompson.
Flashing the lights is Van Liesnold. That's not going to get him done any quicker, though. It's annoying for Van Liesnold. They caught him in the one place of the second, which isn't a straight. I think it's probably right for Sudlow to let these guys pass after the kink, but he was pretty fast through the carousel, pulled away a little bit. He's a fast driver, is Tom Sudlow, completely out of position, and he's thinking, well, I can still gain a few more places in this race if you let me continue.
Oh my goodness, they're still behind him. This is great news if you're Thompson. Thompson using the lap traffic to his advantage. What I said earlier on in this lap as the Porsche goes off the track. Thompson switch back onto the last corner, trying to get for P1 once more, but he's getting all that draft that he needs as they go once more down the front straight, picking up the boosted GT3 cars draft. And Thompson is ready to launch on Lusenord, but I don't think he's going to try to go to P1. Lusenord going out to the inside, try to maybe force a move onto the GT3 driver, but he's going to get him onto the exit.
Thompson's got to be committed to this one. Gets past as well. It's really tricky for these GTE cars because the GT3s are just as quick, if not quicker, right at the end of these straights. Their acceleration is slower, and of course through the corners, GTEs are way faster, but at the end of these straights, it can be tricky for the GTEs to actually make any moves. You can see the GT3 keeping up with these guys in the city.
Here goes Thompson!
Down the inside at the corner where he lost the lead. That is way too deep though. Van Loosenor was pretty deep as well. And now he's having to defend from Tom Sutler. He's trying to unlap himself against Thompson. Well, that was maybe Thompson's chance. He knew that he was probably going to lose a bit of time to Van Loosenor. Had a go. Fortunately, he's only 1 second behind, so he can catch that gap back up if he's...
and there's Tom McMahon. Tom McMahon, the P3 GTE of Euro SR, is picking his way through this little gap. As I see Thompson holding a around the outside move of one of the GT3s as well.
Just looking at how much traffic they've got that traffic till the end of the race. So there's not going to be any easy moments for Martin Van Loosenor out here. He's had to gain a lot of places by passing drivers in his own class, and now he's having to deal with the other classes as well, along with the back markers, of course. McMahon still to get past Sudley. He should really be fighting with them, that's how quick he is. Here's Underhill doing a brilliant job in 5th place. Did lose the place to Utreus, and now he's got Mark Fletcher just behind him. Fletcher started down in 31st place, I'm seeing. So pretty much last, or penultimate place, pretty much. And, well, yeah, apologies, 21st place. And he's done a brilliant job of getting up into 6th place. And then it's Klopman, Brown, and Salt, and Rue to round out the top 10.
Now the GT3s are still battling it out for the lead. Ferns Kerr has actually pulled out a little small tiny gap to Horner. Just have a second as the GTE cars are now starting to pass them. But these two leaders are holding off a lot of pace. P3 is falling back once more. So that is Childs actually trying to get past the leaders.
Yeah, I think Childs is actually racing them in terms of distance completed. Yeah, in terms of actual position. But of course, he won't gain any points. It's all down to where you finish in your own class. But Childs, of course, led the race after one corner. I still want to see after the race what happened to him after that turn one, because all of a sudden it was someone else leading going down into turn 3, who unfortunately also isn't running in this race. It's difficult to keep up to date with everything that's happened because so much of it has happened, and certainly do thank everyone who's tuned in, and hopefully you've really enjoyed this race. And if you have, please leave a like on this video, and also give the channel a subscribe as well. We'd mega appreciate it, because we've got loads of other series just like this.
Yeah, we do series almost every day of the week, and all of them featuring some different, all of them featuring their own unique action. You got the close, insane racing and the MX-5s, probably my favorite series because I'm commentating it, but no bias there. IndyCar racing, insane races there, and just at high speeds. Community absolutely loves that one that we brought the IndyCar Top Split series back to broadcast. As Sam Rocks.
Oh, he was running 10th place as well, was he?
Yeah, it was. There's another car involved in there. This was a collision.
Oh, was it with Copeland?
Oh! 3-car collision. And big crash.
That's one of the pit side drivers. May have been Ev Dotka potentially. It was.
It was. Evan Dotka was a car that was launched into space last race in the first corner.
Oh, here comes Fletcher. He's going to go up to 5th place, so he finally does get past Underhill. Still very impressed by Simon Underhill, a bit of a veteran of Apex Racing TV. He's doing really well in that GTE car. I think he's got a little bit of experience, to be fair. I know Matt taking part in a variety of series, of course, including the World GT Championship, which has just come to a close last week. So, good that he's found somewhere to take back that GTE racing game.
Yeah, GTE racing, always a staple here at Apex Racing TV. Probably the most popular racing here on iRacing, honestly.
Yeah, I think so. Also TCR as well. Must be said.
And Skippy.
And Skippy.
Which is getting a rebuild in December, as well as new Lime Rock Park, which I believe iRacing just uploaded a video of that during this race.
I will have to watch that back after this because, yeah, fantastic that is coming. Also, of course, the new V8 supercars pretty much confirmed for next season. Hopefully an Aussie circuit as well. But we are getting into speculation. You can check out the Apex Racing TV weekly roundup for all the other iRacing news. That'll be posted in the next couple of days on our Facebook page and on our YouTube as well. You can also see episode 1, which was posted a couple of days ago. Roberts next up on, I'll say he's a lap down, of course, on these guys.
Lap down. He's gotta make his way for losing Nord. As he make, oh, that's Kloppman. They're the same team, the same car, and that got me. Actually, no, they were not in the same car.
By the end of this season, we will know these numbers down to a T, and we'll get no confusion whatsoever. But out in the lead, this is Martin Bentley's nod, and you can see the gap behind him, 1.8 seconds, and maybe Thompson even losing a little bit more time as we speak. Oh, yes, just trying to get past the Audi currently.
He was very mad that Audi was not getting out of his way. I think it was doing a little bit of a bump draft to him. And it looks like Tom McMahon is within 1 second of Josh Thompson. Yes, he is. Man, fighting with that Audi right there, which is... yeah, that's one beat up Audi. But Tom McMahon in the draft of Josh Thompson. We've seen Josh Thompson defend for the lead. What about for P2?
Yeah, I'm not sure if he'll defend quite as hard. I mean, Thompson isn't necessarily here to win the championship. He kind of just wants to have a bit of fun out on this circuit and compare himself to some of the best drivers in this championship.
Well,
so
we are
on
crash
potentially.
We have to avoid that car because we have one more lap to go as this white flag here at Road America, and we're not going to go for another lap because there's 1 minute remaining and this lap takes 2 minutes to go through. So 1 lap remaining here at Road America.
Absolutely, so shouldn't be too much confusion with the fuel. Most of these drivers should have predicted that this is the amount that they need. It's also a bit warmer than we saw in race 1, so of course the warmer it is, 39 degrees track temperature, the less fuel you use as you're on the throttle a little bit less as you're having to take the corners a bit slower. So getting on the brakes a bit earlier, getting on the throttle a little bit later as well. The battles have calmed down a little bit, starting to renew actually just on this final lap because we've got Cam Dance battling with Seb Root, who of course had that massive crash, and look at that car that Seb is having to drive. He's doing a brilliant job of it though, because he's trying to come back at his rival, car number 99, versus car number 27. And Dance almost getting that car alongside. Who is this just behind? This is Michael Abdoka. He'll get a mega century on the pair of them. Unfortunately, this is one of the narrowest circuits we visit all season long, and there's not a whole lot he can do. But slipping back then down the order is Cam Dance with all that damage.
Very late
gets his
move
nose on the inside. Oh,
a little bit of contact. No, I think there was contact. I think it just hooked his nose, and he just saved it right there. His teammates on the back of him. Dance trying to get around Adalka, but these three Ferraris all racing with each other. 13th, 12th, and 11th place, all up for grabs. And I think Cotland and Underhill had a little bit of an overtake. Oh, we got a crash. Got a car facing the other side.
Might be Peps.
We got a GTE car
Or Rich
also.
Travis.
Yeah,
Top this round as well from 3rd place in the GT3s.
oh my goodness, chaos in the last lap. And
it was
Lucenord.
Though, to take race 2. It is a clean sweep in the first round of the American GT Series. What a performance that was from 22nd on the grid.
Definitely.
Versus Mike Horder. That's still very close for the GT3 win.
Yeah, that battle for the GT3 win as K is coming down to just half of the lap remaining as look at Hidalgo holding it around the outside of Rocks. And here comes Dan setting it up onto the inside.
Oh, Abdoka getting held up as well to the line, but that will be enough for Michael Abdoka. What a final lap that was. We've got to go to Kern versus Horder though, because that's 0.2 of a second, and that is for the win in the GT3 category. 17th and 18th overall. There's still time for Horder to win this one, because these cars are pretty much flat out through this corner as the clouds start to go in a little bit. That'll boost the grip that these drivers have. Kern's going to have to go right to the inside for Canada Corner. He's held this lead for pretty much the entire race from pole position. Didn't win a race in the British GT, but he might just win one on his second attempt in the American GT. Stopped it on the Apex brilliantly. Horder, nothing he can do. There's one more corner where he can potentially overtake. Surely Kern won't fall victim to this. Horder didn't go for the dive, wisely so. Brilliant dueling from these two.
Oh,
and
Horder
almost loses it on the
very
very
loose.
last corner. And it'll be Kern to take the race win. His first race win of the season in race 2 of the American GT Series, and that was perfect defensive driving from start to finish. That was a long 40 minutes for him, and he did it brilliantly. Horder finishes in 2nd place. 3rd place in that class was
Hortel.
Yeah, Hortel, who beat Brazier because of that spin for Brazier on the last lap.
Yeah, the BMW finishing in P3, but the two Mercs standing on top of the podium in the GT3 class. And what a race that we just went through. In GT3s, the battle at the front, always nose to tail. The GTEs is just carnage throughout of it. And race 2, I think even better than race 1. As Martin van Luzenord just masterclass of the first day of American GTC, takes both of the wins and just explodes to the top step of the leaderboards in the GTE class.
Yeah, that is 80 points, I believe, for Van Liesnold. Took part in British GT. I'm referencing British GT a lot. That was like the precursor to this championship. And Van Liesnold was very quick in that as well. But just had unbelievable bad luck in that series. He got loads of retirements. Only, I think, one race win, but he's already eclipsed that this season. 80 points on the table. Not taking into account penalty points or incident points, but certainly in terms of on track, that was brilliant from him. And we can go through the final results, I believe, now. And it is Martin van Liesnold who wins out. 3.2 seconds ahead of Josh Thompson. What a great defensive performance that was from Thompson. He'll be frustrated how he got overtaken by Van Liesnold, but he really tried everything he could to come back. Tom McMahon finishes on the podium. Solid points for him. I think he'll be 2nd place in the championship going into round 2. Mark Fletcher, brilliant drive from him. 21st on the grid, had a bad first lap, didn't really gain any places, and then in the end still got up to 4th. Colin Clakeman finished in 5th, then Simon Underhill, Andrew Brown, James Salt, Bob Humphrey, and Javi Utreras running up top 10. There's Michael Abdoka, Seb Rue, Cameron Dance, Jason Hodgson, Kev Copeland, Victor Rivero in 16th place, and then top of, actually we'll go through all the GTEs, Justin Vame, Bobby Childs, Crichton Roch, Stephen Bocade, Russ Davis, Tom Sudlow, and then one lap down was Joseph Sol. He'll still score points. The retirees were Christian Mikel, Tiago Loureiro, Harold Stadler, Rodrigo Lizowski, Jesper Lind, Lewis Bibby, Nick Madsen, and Guillaume Barros. In the GT3 category then, Brent Kern wins out for Apex Racing Team. Brilliant job from him. Beats Mike Horder by a couple of seconds in the end. Then it was Ignacio Hortel rounding out the podium. Race 1 winner Scott Bridges, still a great day for him. In 4th place, I imagine he'll be the championship leader after round 1. Then it was Rob Sutherland, Rob Thiessen, Tristan Martz, Nick Dawes, Bod Boland, Ryan Walker, Sanjay Daladone, Jakob Boshoff, Stephen Kastrop, Damon Owen Harris, Sean Gardner, Yasser Sebula, Ronald Moons, Him Bao, and then one lap down was Dave Petts, John Roberts, and Adam Hedgecock. And the retirees were Kobe Bingham, the only one retiree in the GT3 class. They did have faster pairs up there, I should just add, but that is still quite remarkable considering the action that we saw out on circuit, that there were so few retirees. So, well, who are we going to have a chat with first? I think we'll have a chat with Josh Thompson first, because that was some effort out there. Josh, fantastic to have you back in the commentary booth. That was some race too. You did everything you could to hold back Martin out there, but I mean, he's pretty quick.
Yeah, Martin's just obviously, always has been. I've raced against Martin now for 3 years, back when Formula Renault, and then the 3.5, obviously now does Neo and stuff. He's always been insanely quick when he puts the time in, and yeah, look, he just managed to hit me in the end of that. Just, I couldn't really do much more, as you said. There was nothing else I could get out of the car, I felt like I kind of reached the limit of what I had, and Martin had like an extra 2 to 3 attempts in his pocket, which was kind of hard to compete against around here.
We're just watching your race start. I mean, absolutely everything going on. Would you say your experience in all your other leagues really is useful when it comes to those types of first laps with these reverse grids?
Yeah, definitely. I think anything with any sort of big grid kind of helps with this. Road America is one of the unique tracks where it happens quite a lot with the start, how it checks up and suddenly goes. If you're 4 or 5 rows back, you can end up being gaining 2 to 3 rows just by getting a nice launch, because how it checks up. I think at other tracks it's not as extreme. So like, for instance, like Sebring and stuff like that, you don't get that. So I think you've just got to get your wits about you, and obviously because it's a long straight, people try and force it 3 wide, 4 wide. So yeah, you should be on your toes really.
And what can we expect to see much around this season? Are you planning on committing to all the rounds, or are you just kind of going to be here for the occasional meeting?
I plan to do most of them. I might obviously miss 1 or 2 with Neo and SEO commitments, and obviously Porsche if that starts soon, so that's my main focus now. But yeah, hopefully can turn up to most of them, because obviously the tracks are quite good. We obviously got to go to Sebring, Road Atlanta, so other good tracks so you can have really good racing.
Awesome. Well, we certainly hope to see you back very soon. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, you guys in the broadcast of the series. It looks really good from what I saw after the race 1 replay. Craig Setup Shop, for those guys for just helping me out with this race. Obviously everyone at Williams and Williams Germany Sports, and finally Martin for that race, because that was 10 out of 10 I thought.
Absolutely. Thanks for having a chat with us, Josh, and hopefully we'll see you back soon on Apex Racing TV.
Cheers guys.
Speaking of Martin, he is ready for the interview, so let's bring in
I just had a stunning
the winner of race 1 and 2, Martin van Uzenoord. How was that? Just
Hello, guys.
constant.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, you took race 1 very easily. Then race 2, you had a little bit of fight with actually a big fight with Thompson. And any thoughts about that race? And well, you're sitting pretty at the top of sitting pretty with 80 points in the leaderboard.
Yeah, I think second race. The first race was good. Qualifying was good. I just had a stunning lap. So the first race was good. Could keep the Radicals guys behind me, and pull a gap of 3 seconds. And the second race, I think I just had a bit of luck going through traffic. I had to avoid some crashes going through into turn 1. I had to avoid them going wide, over the grass and stuff. So, but I think I'm just lucky that I didn't get hit or something like that. And yeah, the battle with Thompson was awesome. I think we battled for a good few laps. Outside, inside moves was was really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of defending on the outside. Then on the inside, some insane moves pulled by Thompson to keep first place, but I think it just came when lap traffic was in front of y'all, where you got the advantage.
Yeah, I think I basically threw sort of dummy on him because he thought I was again going for the outside move, breaking into for turn 3, I think it is. But then I went for the inside and he didn't expect that. And he also didn't want to move under braking, I think. So I was just hoping that he braked a little bit earlier so I could get the car right next to him. But that, I think in the end it was a good move and I had a bit of luck with that. But yeah, the other way around, it was a few laps. Yeah, after that when he threw it up the inside, but I was braking late, so I knew that he would overshoot that corner, so I could do the over-under and keep P1.
Yeah, so now you're sitting on top of the championship. Are you going to kind of lift off the aggressiveness for the rest of the races, or is it just flat out?
It's always flat out. I mean, there's no half throttle. It's pedal to the metal.
That's the way it is. All right, before we send you off, anyone you want to shout out?
Yeah, I would like to shout out to you guys for covering this series. I'd like to shout out to the sponsors, UGX Racing Simulators, RB Skillworks, and Uitert. And I would like to thank my team for helping out on the setup and stuff.
All right. Well, thank you for giving us a wonderful show in race 1 and 2. We hope you have a great rest of your day and a nice break between races before we see you next time.
Thank you. See you next time. Bye-bye.
So that was race 1 and race 2 winner in the GTE class, Martin van Loosenod. Next up, we will have a chat with one of the GT3 drivers, Frans Kern. He managed to come out on top in the GT3 field in that race too. And Frans, congratulations. I mean, that was... It was a 40-minute race, but I imagine it felt a bit longer than 40 minutes because Mike was hounding you for the entire race there. Your defense was absolutely terrific.
Yeah, that was a really long race. I think it was 3-4 hours. It wasn't 40 minutes. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with racing with Mike. It was great. We had a clean battle all the time, which was, yeah, I'm really tired now after this, but it was a big fun.
Definitely. I mean, this circuit is a bit unusual because you got massive straights where there's, you know, slipstream opportunities, but then it's also quite narrow. So would you say this is a quite easy over to take circuit, or would you say it's quite possible to defend? Because I mean, Mike got alongside you a couple of times, but you always seem to have it under control.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Let's say if we say it's easy to overtake, then I was really lucky. And I think the problem is there are a lot of corners that are quite fast after a long straight, so you have the possibility to get enough momentum through it. It's not like really, like let's say Kota where you're breaking down and then you have a 90-degree or more corner where you really can try something. It's always like yeah, a bit of rolling through it, and I think that was my luck.
And just a word on race 1 as well. You finished in 12th place, which was, of course, deliberate, so that you got reverse grid pole. And, I mean, what happened in that race 1? I unfortunately couldn't see it. So, you know, how was your qualifying, and did you have any good battles in that?
Qualifying was, well, but I'm not the qualifier. I think I will never be. It's just for me trying to get a good lap, and then I see where I start from, and it was in the end, it was I think P3. So racing in general was also good. I had pressure all the time, rather from behind than in front, because Scott and I don't know who was in front of me were really quick. So yeah, I was more defending. I think for a time also against Mike. And yeah, and then I decided to pull out the last lap to get P1 for second race.
Absolutely. Perfect tactic. It worked out great because you're going to be quite far in the championship. Do you have any aims for the championship? I believe you. Yeah, of course you're a pro driver. You're over 4K. So have you got your eyes on that first place in the championship for this season?
To be fair, at the moment I don't have. I'm more driving this car because I like how it looks, how it sounds. But I'm not. Okay, it looked a bit different, but I have to get into it because I'm usually not a GT driver. So, and you see, in race 1, I wasn't even able to calculate the fuel correctly. So yeah, that was a bit fortunate with the P1 in the second race that I wanted. I think if I finished P3, then I maybe ended somewhere in the midfield with the reverse grid. So I will see how the season goes. There are some tracks I think I've never driven. And, I have to get used to the car and find the time to build something like setup. So we will see.
Absolutely. Well, we wish you the best of luck, Vince. Before we let you go, is there any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Yes, of course. First to the team, because I had not that much time, and then just grabbed the note set, which fortunately worked. And then, our sponsors, SDK Gaming Computers. Yeah,
Thanks.
And everyone for the good racing.
Absolutely. Thanks, Vince, for having a chat with us, and best of luck for next week.
Yeah, you see you.
So that was Prince Kern, race winner of race 2 in the GT3 category. So next up, we will have a chat with Mark Fletcher, who is in the commentary box with us right now. And Mark, pretty good debut to the series, 2nd and 4th place. That's nice points haul.
Yeah, it's very different, isn't it? There's a lot of fast boys in this one. I've never raced against Martin before, but he's really fast.
He really is. Oh, by the way, I forget, of course, congratulations on 2nd place in the World GT on Monday.
Yeah.
Was a very good achievement. But yeah, you're absolutely right. This Martin, also Josh as well, and Tom, to be fair, they're all terrific drivers that you're battling against. That race 2, though, the first lap, seemed like Martin gained about 15 places, whereas you kind of stayed put. Did you get involved in any collisions with anyone?
Yeah, I was trying to follow Martin because obviously I knew he was going to end up somewhere near the front, and it was just like 3 wides pretty much as soon as we got started, and I was like, I want to finish this race, so I just kind of backed up and just picked my way through as I did, learning from what World GT was. You've got to almost think of the championship before you start these kind of things. So that was just my idea, really. Just get some good points on the board and carry on, really.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like a lot of drivers have taken the Ferrari for this season. Of course, you've driven the Ferrari in the World GT Championship, and that went pretty well for you as well. Would you say that the Ferrari's got a big advantage currently? Because in other series we broadcast, it seems quite even with the Ford and the Porsche, but in this, the Ferrari really has dominated the field.
Yeah, I really enjoyed driving the Ferrari because it's not as fast as the Ford. Like, I couldn't get anywhere near Simon Underhill down the straights, even in the slipstream, if he was in that slipstream as well. But I think it's just a bit more forgiving. It's good over the curbs, so you can take a bit of liberties with it. That's the only reason why I drive it. But yeah, I think it's just fairly easy to drive.
And next week we head south to Georgia, Road Atlanta next week. Did you do Petit Le Mans? I imagine that would be quite a good learning experience for that event. Do you have a good setup for that race?
Yeah, Jason, the guy that helps me make my setups, my teammate for this series, he reckons we've got a good setup. Whether I'll be there or not is another thing. I run a marathon the day before, and Jason said, I would be very surprised to see you here.
I mean, it's just a marathon, isn't it? It's just moving your legs a bit, isn't it? So
exactly. I've done more miles tonight, so I don't see what the issue is.
Exactly. I mean, think how many miles you've driven tonight. I mean, compared to a marathon, easy peasy. So hopefully we'll see you back next week, Mark. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
All the standard people, all the Radicals guys, the Motaf podcast guys, Jason for making all my setups, that we run together, and also my sponsor, Sim Racing Studio.
Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Mark, and best of luck for next week.
Cheers, Sam. Good night.
So finally, we are going to have a chat with Alessandro Dalladone, who finished in second place in the GT3s in race 1. About 8th place, I believe, in race 2. Alessandro, great to have a chat with you. Just that race 1, first off. It wasn't the most enthralling race from you. You seem to be quite a comfortable second place, but still a really good result.
Yeah, absolutely okay with race 1. To say the goal was to stay in the draft of Scott, which I managed to do for the first few laps. But then in the end, due to traffic, people spinning out, rejoining the track, I checked up. Better safe than sorry, and I lost the draft, so I settled up with P2, which is definitely enough. But race 2 went completely other way.
Yeah, tell us about that race too. You unfortunately couldn't see too much of you on the broadcast. So much was happening, but I mean, you still finished on the lead lap. Just take us through what happened out there.
Well, I don't know, honestly. I have to check the replay, but I couldn't. So I got slammed in the hairpin, probably 3 wide between Scott and someone else on lap 1. I don't know whose fault it is or if there is any fault in that. I don't honestly care much about that. I'm sorry for causing a bit of trouble, let's say, but sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Happy little incidents are part of the championship, especially when it's a long way like this one. We are only starting now.
Absolutely. And a lot of rounds to go. Just looking at the rest of the calendar, I mean, we've got Road Atlanta, Laguna Seca, Montreal, Watkins Glen, Sebring, Daytona, I believe, coming up. Which round kind of stands out to you? Which circuit are you most enjoying visiting?
Well, I'm obviously looking forward to Sebring, and I think also your colleague Marco knows it's one of my favorite tracks, and obviously I'm looking forward to get back and try to get a decent result in the end and competing for a win or at least a podium at the end of the championship. Obviously the goal is to get definitely better and manage to complete race 2 without any single crash, because this is the most important thing if you want to get a decent result in race 2 with inverse grids and a lot of things going on.
Absolutely. Of course, Marco, did Marco carry you to the Sebring 12 hours?
Yeah, Marco did. Yes, absolutely. We all know that Marco is a first choice driver, so he's the one carrying me over.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh dear. Thanks for having a chat with us, Alice.
You see my adventures in the beginning of the race. That was a bit tense.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we let you go, Alessandro, is there any shout-outs you'd like to give to anyone, or any one that you'd like to thank?
I want to thank you for providing this nice championship, nice broadcast, and thanks to Satellite Racing, even if I'm not a driver for them, I'm just a member because I don't deserve to be in a team. I'm just having some fun, so taking casually. But thanks for having me to their team to help them whenever they need.
Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Alessandro, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you. Bye. Have a nice evening.
So I think that rounds off our podiums for the evening. And Austin, a brilliant way to start off this championship. Next week, though, we head to Road Atlanta. And if we saw chaos around this track, I think Road Atlanta could be even more entertaining because even narrower a circuit, the wall's quite close to the track there, and a shorter circuit as well. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, shorter circuit in the first sector is just all up and side by side and through the S's. As Lando Norris says, you're moving up and down, side to side like a roller coaster. And that's honestly true there at Road Atlanta. They got the best of both worlds there. You got that long giant straight. You got twists and turns. It's going to be a very, very exciting race. And I say this is the start of a wonderful championship.
Absolutely. We've thoroughly enjoyed this meeting one of the season. Hopefully you've enjoyed it as well. Thanks for tuning in. Certainly do leave a like on this video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to Apex Racing 2 and also check out the iRacing Esports Network because we broadcast there several nights a week as well. Of course, we've got plenty of other events coming up this week on iRacing. On Apex Racing TV, and I think on Tuesday we've got the season finale of the BSR MX5 Pro Series. Mega close championship, been going on for I think about 10 months already, that championship, and finally coming to an end on Tuesday, so really recommend checking that one out. Really a few drivers who could win both the Pro and the Amstangs and the Teams Championship as well. On Thursday on the iRacing Esports Network, we've got the ARL TC Championship. And on Saturday, we've got the Euro V8 Supercar Series as well. And there's loads of other broadcasts as well. You just kind of have to subscribe and also put on notifications to be up to date with all of them. But we'll be back for next week at Road Atlanta for round 2 of the American GT Championship. So for now, from me, from Austin, and from Sam, we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.